And we're live, I think.
Hooray!
Phew, there was a little
chat, say something.
There was little. There's always some sort of hitch whenever I try and go live at the beginning. Thankfully, I've managed to get through them all.
I see. We're here.
But yes, we're there. Hello, everyone. Hello to the chat. Yes. Hello. Well, Joshua, Kinney Games, Kieran, Grundislav. Hello, Grundislav Games.
Oh, hello.
Michael, Ambrosine, just Pickle Dot. I'm sorry if I don't get to everyone because this is more people than we've ever had live on the podcast.
I'm so honored to have such a lovely turnout. Thank you all for coming.
Yeah,
it's worth it for you.
I'm sure it's
announcing right now. I'm voicing everybody. Bye.
Yes. And the end.
Yeah, right. Yeah. That would be the biggest troll ever.
Oh man, yeah. I think we were just talking off air about some of the reactions to Return from a Minority, Return Monkey Eye. That would be nothing compared to how people. I don't think so. No, you're a good voice actor. And yes, hello, Amy. Hello, Chris. It's great, and Edmundo Ruiz.
Hello.
Now, anyway, if I don't get to everybody, I do apologize. But what we will do is, because first of all, to kind of wait for people to join us and to build up a little bit of suspense, we're going to play a trailer very shortly. We're going to have a quick recap of the story and maybe one or two of the characters. Then you will be telling us, Francisco, about how you managed to get some of these actors. We're talking a little bit about, because a bit different this time with the SAG union.
Yes.
And then we will have the official voice cut. I don't know, by the way. Francisco offered to tell me for it. I said, no, I want to be in suspense as well. So I'm with you guys watching. I am kept in suspense. So hello, Amy, as well, and Matthew.
And thank you, Amy, for spreading the link around.
Yes, thank you. So what I was going to say is, if people have any guesses about which voice actors will be announced and or which adventure games they've appeared in, because I believe you said, Francisco, that
I did tweet about which adventure games.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah. But if you do have any guesses, feel free to
put them in the chat, and we shall see if you're right or. Now, as I said, I don't know myself, so I'm the one in suspense as well. Anyway, just to recap, I know it was about a year ago that you released an announcement trailer. Shall we play that trailer? I will try and play this. I'm going to try and play the video.
Let's do it.
So, yeah. And 1 second.
We've got one guess.
This is oh man, this is okay, so yes, as you can see, this is very professional. This is, people now know how much editing goes into the podcast. Oh,
hey, at least you do editing. I
never
edited the Blue Cup Tools podcast.
Well, not a whole lot, but I mean, mostly it's Laura who edits. But yes, I finally have the trailer. So are you ready? Would you like to watch it, Francisco? If you're
800 times.
So now would be the 801st time.
All right, go on then.
Tell me, what is it you want out of life? Fortune, glory, the thrill of adventure? I'm offering you a chance at all three. You just need to do me one small favor. You've something of a reputation, you know. Clever, resourceful, maybe a little dangerous. I do hope that's accurate. The path won't be straightforward. You'll encounter obstacles along the way, perhaps even some other dangerous people. You'll need some help, but I assure you the rewards far outweigh the risks. You will be richer than you ever thought possible, if you can deliver. I'll be in touch.
So coming 2021.
those innocent halcyon pre-pandemic days. Although I would say, even if the pandemic had not occurred, I probably would still be working on the game now, because I grossly underestimated how much time it would take me to make. I thought I could make a game double the resolution of Lamplight City in less time. So
Well, I mean, I think you could say that about everything, that it takes longer than we take. I take, hey, how long will it take me to edit the podcast? Half an hour, 5 hours later.
Everything always takes
or
2
just
times
everything. Could be working my day job, tell my boss, in half an hour it'll be ready. And then, 2 hours later, another half an hour. But so that was a trailer.
Yes.
Edmundo Ruiz Ganem, apologies if I got the name wrong. He said, is the narrator of this trailer cast in the final game? Well, we shall find out probably.
Find out, yeah.
Because I don't know. So anyway, as I said, we'll just have a quick recap.
Yes.
First of all, hello, Francisco. I don't know if I even said hello to you in recording. It's been a long time.
It's been a long time. Hello, Sasha. How are you?
I'm very good. It's been the last time we met was when the world was a very different place back in 2019. Those innocent days.
Yeah, that was the last time I've been out of the country since the pandemic started. That post Adventure X trip to Dublin.
Yeah, which was really nice. And met up with you and Jess in a pub in Ireland.
Yep.
And we said, see you next year at Adventure X.
See you next year.
Well, you were very kind enough to show me as well at Narrowscope again back in 2019, a very early version of Rosewater.
Yes.
And but even though it was very early, I could still get a sense of what you were going for. I could still get a sense of like, oh, this looks good. This looks like it could be good. And I think I mentioned that to you. So very quickly then, I'll move it on to you. So could you give us a quick recap maybe of the plot or where we are in Rosewater?
Sure. So for those of you who have been following Rosewater but have forgotten because it's been so long, or just haven't thought about it or don't know about it. So Rosewater is a Western adventure. It's set in the same alternate history as Lamplight City, which is to say it is the United States. It is not the United States of America, but rather the Commonwealth of Vespuccia. And Lamplight City was set on the East Coast on Lamplight City in the city of New Britannia, which was like a mix of London and New York and New Orleans, and it was a detective game. Rosewater is an adventure game in the sense of like Indiana Jones and the Fate of Atlantis, or like Uncharted or something, where you're going on an actual adventure. And you play as Harley Legere, who is the sister of Bill Legere, who's the dead partner from Lamplight City. And she has come to the small town of Rosewater intending to get a job as a journalist at the local paper. And she's quickly given an assignment to interview a local Western legend named Gentleman Jake Ackerman. And as she does that, she gets involved in this plot, a treasure hunt to go find a missing fortune. And so she joins up with Jake and his assistant Danny, and they soon meet up with a few other characters who you can see behind Schorsch's head there. We've got Harley there on the top, and then clockwise around, we've got Nadine Redbird, we've got Jake Ackerman, we've got Lola Johnson, we've got Danny Lowe, and we've got Phil Marquez. And that's our posse. And they go off in search of this missing fortune, and hijinks ensue. And the main part of the gameplay is basically the treasure hunt, but also as you go on the journey and you encounter different situations and storylets and things like that, your companions are obviously part of the story, and the way that you interact with them and how you treat them and who you prefer or stuff like that affects your relationships with them, and that also determines some of the trajectory of the story. So for example, in like Act 2, which is the journey part, there's like little companion specific encounters or excursions, and which one there's two per companion, two possible ones per companion, and which one you get depends on what your relationship is with the companion at that time. So like if you have a lower relationship, you'll get one. If you have a higher relationship, you'll get another. So there's some replayability there. And so you basically you can, if the thing there is that I'm very aware that when as a designer, when you create characters, you want everybody to love them. You want everybody to love all the characters, but realistically, you have to realize that not everyone will. So I'm giving the player the opportunity to, if they do love everyone, great. You can be nice to everyone. But if there's one person that rubs you the wrong way, go ahead and be a jerk. It doesn't, it's fine. You don't have to like everybody. If you don't like somebody, you don't like them. And then, you'll see what the consequences are of that. And then if you want to play again and try something new, you'll get a different experience. So yeah, that's the long-winded answer.
Yeah, no, it sounds fantastic. As you said, it's been I can't believe it's been a few years now. So it's always great. That's
also part of the reason why it's taken so long, because there's a lot of content. There's a lot of optional content.
Yeah, no, it's I would what I always tell developers when I speak with them is, take your time when making the game, because we don't want like a Cyberpunk 2077 situation where
funny you mentioned that game.
Oh, again, I have no idea who the characters are. I better not be disrespectful to any. I better not say, wow, this voice actor.
I'm not. Well,
I know, but the voice acting in Cyberpunk was terrible. I mean, absolutely. No, I'm kidding. I am joking. No, but what I say is to take your time, to as long as it takes to make a game. And I think it's better to take a few years, just to make it as good as possible.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and
I mean, there's the luxury of being able to take that long,
right?
Like with Lamplight City, I was in a situation where I was like, I need to get this game out and earning money because the noose is tightening financially. So, but thankfully, Lamplight City has done well enough that I haven't encountered that quite yet. But I'm definitely inching closer to that territory, which is why I want to get this game out sooner rather than later. Also, Amy says that she has done a naughty thing. What's the naughty thing?
Yeah, I'm just reading that, and I'm very curious now. Amy, you might know her as Summerbee on social media. Yes. She's, I think, a great supporter of adventure games in general. You probably see her a lot. So, but yeah, Amy, if you want to read Amy, you can tell us in private or not tell us at all. But so again, hello to new people. We have not revealed the voice cast yet. We are going to get there very shortly, but Francisco has just given a quick recap of some of the characters and the story, which we'll find out more about soon. And now again, the last thing before we get to the actual voice cast, yes. You also mentioned in your newsletter that this time you went a bit differently, because the voice cast in all your games has always been very really, really good. Lamplight City, Starlight, and even back to the Ben Jordan days, they were genuinely of a very high quality. So
thank you.
But this time you mentioned that you mentioned SAG, like it's a union. So could you explain to us what that is, what that means for the game, and then we can go on to the voice cast. Hello, Kita.
Absolutely, I would be happy to say that. I'm sorry, I was just looking at I was stalling because I was looking at the chat. So basically, and yes, thank you for very kindly saying that the quality of the voice acting has been high in my
genuinely. I'm not just saying it because you're here, but
I agree. And that is an important thing to keep in mind, because I want to make a very important distinction that just because this particular game is a union game, it is not any sort of implication that non-union voice talent is not as good, or I don't want to give that false impression. So just want to lay that out on the line, first of all. So basically, a very quick primer on what this means is, so here in the United States, we have a union for film and television and voice actors called the Screen Actors Guild, SAG-AFTRA, which is the Screen Actors Guild - American Film and Theater and Radio Association, I believe. Basically what it is it's a union for actors. It basically it deals with making sure that actors get paid fair amounts. It makes sure that they're taken care of with regards to like health insurance and things like that. So when you have things like video games, you have union projects and you have non-union projects. And non-union basically means, like I've done, I'm making a video game. I want to cast a voice actor. They're not in the union. So basically what that means is I can pay them whatever I want, and it's up to them whether they accept it. And there's no regulation on there's no rule saying that I have to pay everybody the same amount. I can pay Joe Schmo $50 an hour. I can pay Jane Doe $100 an hour, right? And I personally would not do that. I like to keep it fair, but there's definitely potential for that to happen. So basically what the union is it basically means that you get paid a fair amount, and the idea is you join the union once you've gotten some experience, and I don't want to say the caliber of jobs is different, but there are definitely there's more. The work you've heard of is probably union. It's basically, so like AAA games and stuff are usually union, and like the big voice actors, the famous voice actors, tend to be union, because why wouldn't you want to work for a guaranteed rate and whatnot. Now the thing is that obviously union rates are higher, so for an indie dev that usually means it's not affordable. But recently, within the past couple of years, there has been a new agreement called the Low Budget Video Game Agreement, which was put together by several voice actors in the union, including one who is in the game, actually two who are in the game. And basically what that was a lower rate, which was intended to be more affordable for indies. Now, I started looking into this in 2020. And at the time, I thought, well, let's see if I can do this, because the budget for the voiceover budget for Lamplight City was $10,000. That was paying the voice actors, I believe it was either 150 or 200. I think it was $200 per 2-hour session. So essentially $100 per hour. But that also factored in studio rental costs. I mean, the $10,000 also factored in studio rental costs and the fee for the casting director. So it really was more like $5,000 or so, or $6,000 for the actors themselves, right? So sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat real quick. Yeah, Summer. No, Dave Gilbert will not be involved in voice directing for Rosewater. He did not direct Lamplight City. I directed Lamplight City, and I will be directing Rosewater as well.
Hey, we'll give you the credit.
Right.
No, I can understand, because I know Dave Gilbert and you worked together on previous games, so that's why people might think that. But for Lamplight City,
he does voice directing for
other games as well. Yeah,
but I'm very selfish, and I like to direct my own games because it's fun. That's the most fun part, is working with directors. So anyway, so I looked into the possibility of making that budget work for union actors, but unfortunately it was out of the price range because of the cost of the actors plus the cost of the studio. It was still too much. So I spoke with the union representative, and I was like, well, is there any way we could make like a super low budget agreement? Because here's the thing, the low budget video game agreement, in order to qualify for it, your budget cannot exceed $1.5 million. And I was like, that is not a problem at all. My game's budget is not going to be $1.5 million.
1.4, maybe 1.49.
No, not even close to that. Not even. So anyway, so I was like, yeah, there is an ultra low budget agreement, or an ultra low budget agreement for film, but there isn't one for video games. So basically, long story short, they said that they were willing to negotiate on a contract by contract basis, but they weren't willing to go to do another tier, obviously, because they wanted to avoid the race to the bottom thing, which was understandable. And I was like, okay, that's fair. Like, maybe we can try negotiating, but it's still out of my price range. And then COVID happened. And the one, I guess, positive of COVID is that it completely changed the landscape of voiceovers, in the sense that pretty much every voice actor realized that they needed to get a home studio. And in doing so, it cut out the cost of studio rental, which lowered the cost significantly. And so I redid the math and realized that to get a decent number of actors so that, you know, you didn't have each person playing 20 characters and have everyone sound the same, I would be able to do it, but with a slightly higher budget. So I was like, well, I could negotiate, or I could ask my publisher to up the VO budget by about $5,000. So I was like, can we up the VO budget? And he was like, sure. So I was like, okay, great, we're doing this. So that was part one. That was what got me that's what led me to tweet, hey, it's a union gig, hooray. So I was all excited about that. So that was step one. Step two was then, okay, I've got a union project. Now the question is, who can I get? Because I was still in the mindset of like, okay, well, it's a union gig, but it's still a low budget gig. So there's still the very real possibility that, you know, actors might still say, well, that's still not enough. However, one thing that I have learned, and I should have known from the beginning, and that I would like to make very clear to everyone, is that most voice actors, well known they are, no matter how, you know, big they might be, with the exception of like some of the bigger names, obviously, they just want to work and they just want to have fun. And like, if you're basically saying, hey, look, I want you to be in this little game, it's 2 hours, you're not even going to be here the full 2 hours because I know you're professional, you get through it, you know, it's X amount of money, they'll say yes because they want to work. Like, I basically wanted in my game from classic adventure games of the 90s. I got people who I knew had home studios, people who I knew had experience working in adventure games, or at the very least narrative games, so that you understand how like branching dialogue and all that works. And then I was like, well, let me get people who whose work I'm familiar with and I like, so then that way I also don't have to do auditions. I can just say, hey, you want to be in my game? And if they say yes, great, fantastic. Now I did because there are several characters, like as you can see, the companions of several different backgrounds and stuff. I did find a very good resource, which is an open list of voice actors, both union and non-union, but I was able to filter out the union ones, who are of different backgrounds, you know, different ethnicities, different sexual orientations, gender identities, etc. And I was able to find a lot of people through that. Some people through that, actually. And yeah, I was able to just like put together this list, and I thought, okay, well, I'll be very lucky if like maybe 4 or 5 say yes. And they all said yes. And I was just taken aback, and I'm super excited to work with them. And I'm even more excited to tell you who they are. So we can do that now if you want.
Definitely. No, but actually what you said about asking people, because I had the same experience.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing.
Yeah, with you and a few others when I first started this podcast, because when I first met you and Livu Bor at Adventure X and Dave Gilbert and Got a Spooky Doorway, and I was a fan of your games beforehand, and I just asked you guys, I said, hey, I'm thinking of starting a podcast. If I do, would you like to appear? And again, you all said yes. Yeah. And then when you were my first guest, the first person I asked. Well, I thought, you guys don't know me. Like, why would you say yes? I was thinking.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too. I was like, I'm just a little indie guy in his basement. Why would these people say yes? But they said yes, and they're apparently, according to their because that's another thing. You have to deal with agents with the union.
Oh, yeah.
Well. Okay. But that's why I hired a casting director to deal with that for me. So you know, there's also that.
But, yes. So, well, we shall find out. But yeah, the point I want to make is that I felt the same with you guys. You all said yes. If you had said no to me back then, chances are this podcast would not exist. And I think a lot of people would be happier for it. No, I'm kidding. I hope not. But actually, when I spoke to you, I hadn't even prepared a podcast. After I spoke with you and a few others, then I was thinking, I guess I better learn how to do a podcast. And I learned a little bit, but...
but to that point, actually, just one quick last thing.
Absolutely, go ahead.
When I was speaking to the union representative about this, she told me, she was like, you know, you're the first like small indie developer who's asked about this. And I was like, that's crazy. Because I guess like everyone else, people thought, oh, this low budget thing is for like indie games, but bigger budget studios with like a team or whatever. Like it's totally out of reach, but it's not, I mean, and I say this full disclosure with the financial backing of a publisher, but our voice acting budget is about $17,000, which if you think about it, if you're kickstarting your game or whatever, that's not that much. And for the talent that I got, it can be done. So take my story to heart, all you indie developers out there. You too,
absolutely
you too can reach for the stars, literally the stars, and and get them in your game. So,
yeah, absolutely. That if you ask, then you never know. I think it's great advice for other indie developers out there. Well, again, very quickly, Keeney Games asks, did any of the Union VAs know you and your games previously?
I don't think so. No, they didn't know me from Adam. So the fact that they said yes was even more impressive. So, yeah.
Okay, well, shall we? Ryan Stone says, I'm very excited for this stream. And
all right,
Sean D says they feel like they're at the Academy Awards.
Oh, geez. Is it because we're taking too long? 3 hours later, yeah, okay, it's this guy.
I mean, maybe someone will want to give us a slap, but
oh no, oh god,
no. Well, let's start out. I shouldn't. We are live. I keep forgetting that. I shouldn't. I should not say anything controversial. Anyway, let's get to it then.
There we go.
So Francisco, I believe we're going to go over to you. And as I said,
let me share my screen. Hold on.
Yes, as I said, I don't know. If you've just joined us, you haven't missed out yet. We are going to see. There we go.
There we go. All right. So my question is Lucy Phonic in the chat? Because I know Lucy Phonic has been very, very excited. Excuse me, very, very excited about this, and actually has a scorecard of her guesses to see if she's right.
Okay. Well, we shall see. For everyone else, make sure you can make guesses as well to see. But
actually, as a quick aside before I start, one thing I thought was really funny when I first announced that I was going Union is most people were like, oh my god, does that mean you have like Keanu Reeves and Tom Cruise and like, named all these celebrities? And it's like, no, that's not how it works. Oh, Lucy's not here. Oh well. KCCCC guesses Ivy Dupler. Well, KCCC, I was going to go alphabetically, but since you said it, you're right. Ivy Dupler is one of the voice actors in Rosewater. Surprise!
Wow, well, that is great because...
Now, you may know Ivy from Lamplight City and many other games. And yes, Ivy is actually not currently a Union actor, but one of the misconceptions that I had going into this is that if you went Union, everybody in your game had to be Union, but that is not the case. In actuality, there is a thing called a Taft-Hartley Agreement, which is basically the first step for somebody to get into the Union. And basically, it's a one-time freebie if you're not in the Union to work on a Union project. Now, if you want to, after you do that, be in another Union project, then you have to join the Union. But every non-Union actor is allowed their one Taft-Hartley freebie to be in a project. So actually, while we're on that, let's move along, and let's start with the people you probably already know from my previous games.
Okay.
So I was going to go alphabetically, as I said, but this is more interesting. So let's skip down this way and see who else do we have? Oh yes, Andy Manchuk, who you may recognize also from all of my games. Andy played in A Golden Wake. He was several characters. He played Denby in Shard Light.
Oh.
Andy was also in Lamplight City. He played several roles in that. He was Cormac the sewer worker in Case 4. He was who else was he? He was the boxer guy whose name I can't remember right now. Ned Bunkeridge. That's right, Ned Bunkeridge. KCCC says a cameo from me. No, I'm not doing any cameos in this game because I did not want to sign a Taft-Hartley. What if I want to be in an actual Union project? I'm not going to waste my Taft-Hartley on a 2-second cameo. Anyway, we do have some previous Grunislav game alum, and for the third one, we've got Ben Britton, who played none other than Miles Fordham in Lamplight City.
Yes.
He was also Gus in Shard Light. That was the first time I worked with him, and so yeah, these are all of their. Actually, I think Andy's joining the union because of this game, but yeah, Ben Britton is. Oh, that's right. Andy was also in. Andy has been in several. He was also in Kathleen, I believe, and in Whispers of a Machine, as was Ivy, and Ben Britton. So yeah, that's. This is basically our, these people from other Grunislav games people. So let's start off. Who is playing our main character? Who is playing Hartley Leger? Well, that is Maya Murphy. And Maya is interesting because Maya has done one video game, Strangeland. She was in Strangeland most recently. That was her big video game debut. But I actually met Maya at a voiceover here in New York several years ago, and our first interaction was she gave me literally her nerd card. She had a business card which she had labeled as her nerd card, and she was like, I love adventure games. I want to be in an adventure game. I really want to be a voice actor in an adventure game. And so I was like, all right, I'll keep you in mind. And when I made this game, or I started working on this game, I was like, oh, this is who I want as Harley. So I've been dangling this carrot in front of her for so long, and I felt so bad because it took so long to get everything together. But I'm finally happy to say that, she's in the game.
Did she know you and your previous games before as well, or was she aware?
I'm not sure. I think so. I want to say so. Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Well,
it's fine.
Just curious.
Yeah. So, but yeah, she's cool. All right. So now let's go in alphabetical order. So our first reveal is GK Bose, who is going to be playing Nadine Redbird. So GK, I found her through that list I mentioned before of oh, Maya, there she is. She's in the chat. Hello, you did. Excellent. Thank you. Hello, Maya. Hello, it is I in the chat. Welcome. All right, so GK Bose I found through the list I mentioned.
Hello, Maya.
Of actors of different ethnicities and backgrounds. And GK has actually been in several video games. She's in Street Fighter V. I don't remember who she plays, but if you look her up on IMDb, she's in a lot of stuff. We have Greg Shun, who he has also been in lots of video games. He plays Yagima in the Judgment games, and he was also the main character in Squid Game. He was the voice of the dubbed.
Really?
Yeah, he was the dubbed voice of the main character in the English version.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Funny story, actually. One of the reasons I knew he would be on board was because there's another actor in this game who does a weekly question chat thing, and I snuck in and I said, hey guys, he had Greg on as his guest, and I was like, what do you guys think of oh, by the way, Neviklink guessed Greg Chun correctly in one of my streams several weeks ago, but I didn't acknowledge it because I was being sneaky. So well done.
So you were like,
yeah. So this actor had Greg Chun on, and I snuck in and was like, what do you guys think of, how do you guys prefer working in indie AAA? What's that like? Like, what do you think of the low budget agreement? And they both were like, oh, it's great. I would never turn down a union job. So I was like, great. That means I got both of these. So I did. So I got Greg. And the other actor in question is Dave Fenoy, who you
I know him.
Yeah.
I don't know him. I've never met him. But
you know who he is. See?
Yeah.
So Dave Fenoy, who is in who's Lee from The Walking Dead as his most famous
he's fantastic.
He's great. And he's one of the people who was in old adventure games because he played the shopkeeper in King's Quest 6. He played
Really?
He was in Leisure Suit Larry 6 as a lifeguard. He was Captain King Andre in Curse of Monkey Island. You may remember the smuggler who has that laugh that Guyver says, could you please stop laughing like that? So yeah, Dave Fenoy has been around for a really long time. And he's a cool guy, and I'm excited to
well, that's fantastic. I mean, his portrayal of Lee is it's one of the main reasons why I love that game. I've played, I think, The Walking Dead season 1 about 3 times now.
Yeah.
And each time I still love it. And again, anyway, we're not here talking about The Walking Dead, but Dave Fenoy,
Well,
fantastic actor.
While we're talking about The Walking Dead, there's 2 other people from The Walking Dead who I got as well. And those
Wow.
are Gavin Hammond, who plays Kenny in The Walking Dead.
Oh, wow.
And Sissy Jones, who plays
Wow.
and also is Delilah in Firewatch.
Yeah, that's
Now, yeah, so these were really cool. So by the way, Gavin Hammond is going to be playing Gentleman Jake. And GK Bose, I don't know if I mentioned before, is going to be playing Nadine Redbird. So we've got some main characters there. So yeah.
wow. So again, this is like almost like a Walking Dead game reunion.
Yeah, kind of. I definitely got a few Telltale people in there.
But it might help because they've worked with each other before.
Yeah.
They sort of probably help with the chemistry, because I know so wow, no, that's great.
Yeah, no, you're telling me, and like I'm telling you, I'm getting excited again, because we're not even close to, like, getting to the amazing. Well, I mean, these are all amazing.
They're all amazing. Yeah, wow, just more.
Yeah, it just gets better and better.
If this was the cast, I mean, this would be really good enough. Trust me. I mean,
but we've 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I've only shown you 9. There's 22. So buckle in. There's lots more.
Buckle in, people. We've got more. Hope. Wow, Jesus.
We got many more coming in. This is going to be an adventure game voice actor super group. Yes, probably. All right, so back to the alphabetical. So Chris Shula, who is actually also my casting director, who is also the guy who is mainly responsible for getting me talking with the union. I met Chris at GDC several years ago and sort of struck up a conversation and a friendship with him. And so he has helped quite a lot. He's done a lot of work with Earplay, which is the company that Dave Grossman founded for like audio dramas and stuff. But he is also, if you've played Fallout New Vegas, he's pretty much the voice of all the ghouls in that game, including the ghoul stand-up comedian. And he was also, I believe, in Fallout 76 as some ghouls. He works with Bethesda a lot.
Wow.
And yeah, he's also the casting director, and he's going to be in the game. So that's exciting.
Oh, well, thank you, Chris. I'm sure we can all thank you for getting this amazing cat, or helping to get.
Yeah. And actually, it's easier to announce who isn't in it. I should also, while we're here, announce or mention the other person that I said was very much instrumental in getting this low budget game agreement going, which is Sarah El Male, who you may recognize from she was the voice at the very beginning of Gone Home on the Answering.
Oh, wow.
She's also the main character in that BioWare game. What was it called? Oh, geez. I'm blanking. The one that not everyone was excited about. Anthem. That's it. Anthem.
Oh, right.
But she also, before she moved out to LA and went union, she did some work with Wadjet as well. She actually had 2 very small parts in A Golden Wake, but she was Anna in Resonance, and she was one of the robots in Primordia as well.
Oh, so, wow.
But Sarah is very, very active in the union, and she's very much an advocate for the union and for, making the connections between developers and the union. So yeah, she basically was instrumental in getting this low budget agreement put together. So
oh, well, again, thank you, Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah. And I'm looking forward, because I haven't worked with her since A Golden Wake, which was 2014. So I'm looking forward to actually like working with her on substantial roles. All right. Are you ready for a big one?
Go. I mean, I've already been blown away, but
did you play Red Dead Redemption 2?
No, but I actually did an even nerdier thing. I watched it on YouTube.
Okay.
So I am aware, yes.
All right. So you're aware of Red Dead Redemption 2.
I mean, the only reason I didn't play it is because... sorry.
I got Roger Clark, Arthur Morgan himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's Arthur himself.
Roger himself agreed to be in my game. He's actually the first one we're recording on the 16th at 9 a.m. So that's going to be fun. And I'm going to have him be playing an Irish character. So
can he do the Irish accent?
He can. He's actually Irish American. Like he
of course he is.
When he speaks, he has his natural Irish accent.
Wow. Okay. No, but the reason I ask is because I'm sure you're aware that I think the Irish and the Scottish accents are probably the most butchered accents.
Oh, absolutely.
But look, I trust you. I trust Chris, and I trust Roger.
Yeah,
so, wow. I mean, of course, Roger.
I mean, if you listen to interviews with Roger, it's his normal speaking voice. So
Yeah. Well, the chat are excited
the chat
as well.
Excited. You think that's a huge get, Amy? Wait till you see this next one. Let me ask you a question, Shorsha. Have you played a little game called? Oh, did you when you were a child? Did you ever watch the Ninja Turtles?
Yes, they're my favorites.
Who was your favorite turtle?
Oh man, I liked all. I hope I gave the right answer now. I liked them all. I'm going to say Michelangelo. Is that the right answer?
Yeah, Michelangelo is a good one. Michelangelo was the party dude.
Okay, if not Leonardo.
I liked Leonardo. That was my favorite, actually.
Okay, or Raphael. Just mixing them now.
No,
Donatello.
I was a fan of Leonardo. But let me ask you, did you play a little game called Freddy Farkas Frontier Pharmacist?
Unfortunately, no, but I am aware of it. I've seen some streams of it as well.
How about Metal Gear Solid?
Yes, okay. I played at least the first two, and then I saw streams of the third. I've seen streams of all of them, but I played.
You're familiar with a character called Liquid Snake?
Yes.
Yeah, so Cam Clark is in my game. He played Leonardo and also plays Liquid Snake and played Freddy Farkas. And I can't believe I got him, but he said yes, and I'm very happy about that.
Wow, congratulations. So Freddy Farkas, Liquid Snake.
Yeah.
Wow, no, that's fantastic.
460 credits on IMDb, so yeah.
Wow, that's amazing.
He's a very prolific voice actor, and
I mean, if you're not careful, this could be like the most awesome group of actors.
Everybody in the chat is screaming, brother. I actually have not played Metal Gear Solid, so I don't know.
Oh, really? Yeah, no, it's a pretty amazing game. I mean, a lot of cutscenes, and it does get weird, but again, the voice acting in that is remarkable. It's truly remarkable. Wow.
Yeah. All right. So we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people left. All right.
Oh, I don't want this to end.
All right. So next we've got playing Danny. We've got Matt Yang King, who is another actor I found via the list I mentioned. Now I was not familiar with his work, but he has played Liu Kang in Mortal Kombat 11. And he also played Carrie Eurodyne in Cyberpunk 2077, which is why when you brought the game up, I mentioned that. He's done a bit more in the AAA space of video games, but I'm excited to have him on board. So moving on.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So as Phil, we've got Christian Lands, who I also found via the same list. And Christian has done some video games, but he's mostly done a lot of animation and stuff. He seems to be the Antonio Banderas sound-alike because he's played Puss in Boots in all of the direct-to-video Shrek sequels.
Wow.
Or the Puss in Boots spin-offs.
I feel like I'm just saying wow a lot today.
Well, how do you think I felt when everyone said yes? I was like, wow. Okay, great. So
look, you never know unless you ask people. It's
exactly, absolutely.
I mean, the worst that can happen is either they say no or they don't get back to you. But hey,
exactly. So and yeah, nobody said no, which is amazing.
Yeah,
so excited to have both of them on board. Then we've got Sal Lopez, who also has not done very many video games, who I also found via this list. But when I looked him up, I realized he was in Grim Fandango. He played Salvador Limones, the revolutionary leader in Grim Fandango. So if you've played Grim Fandango, you've heard Sal Lopez.
I think I should do.
Funny story about him. He was the one out of all of the actors that I cast. I wasn't sure if he had a home studio or not. And so I asked, when the agent got back, they were like, oh, you should ask him for a test to see the quality of his studio. So I asked for a test and he sent me a test, which great audio quality, but it's him reading a soap label, but it is the most professional reading of a soap label I've ever heard in my entire life, because he reads it at normal volume. He gets very loud. He gets very quiet. And, just to show off the range of like how loud his studio sounds and stuff. But it was like this, and I was like, this is why I'm paying union people, because they have the experience to do this, right? So that was really funny. All right,
I think I should do like an Owen Wilson. Wow, and I can't do it well, but just to change it up a bit. Wow, yeah, you're better than me at this. So.
All right, so we've got Vivian Liu, who also I found off of the list, and Vivian has done some video games, but again, nothing that you maybe she has, I don't know, nothing I was familiar with, but I listened to her demo reel and she sounds really good. So I believe she has some credits of like additional voices and stuff like Spider-Man, Miles Morales and stuff like that. Along with GK Bose, actually, that's why I put Spider-Man, Miles Morales in my little collage. Next up, we've got another actor who I found on this list, Melissa Medina, who has done quite a few things. She's actually going to be in Return to Monkey Island, according to IMDb. She's playing a character called Putra in Return to Monkey Island. But yeah, she also had a cool demo reel, and I got in touch with her and was like, hey, you want to be in this game? She was like, sure. So that's cool. Holds out hope for Jason Cryer being in the cast. I'm sorry, Amy, I'm going to have to disappoint you. We must hear the reading now. Agreed. I don't know if I can share audio on here. I still have it, but I don't know. Anyway, all right.
We can try it if you wanted to.
We could try, maybe afterwards.
Yes.
So Edmundo was asking if the voice in the trailer was going to be in the game. And yes, Amelia Tyler, who is the narrator in Baldur's Gate 3 and has been in many other games as well. She is the voice of the character in the trailer, and she is also going to be playing the same character in the game, along with a couple of others. So create a script in which all these people play their best known characters all in one big goofy conversation. Well, I would do that if we were recording together, but unfortunately we're not. So
yeah. Also, Amy mentioned earlier in the chat that, hey, turns out that everyone in the chat is going to be a voice actor in the game. So.
Kind of feels that way now, doesn't it? All right, so 3 more. We've got Bill Ratner, who, if you watched G.I. Joe in the 80s, he played Flint in G.I. Joe. He's also been in a lot of, he's also in Mass Effect. He plays Ambassador Udina, or
yes,
in Mass Effect. But most importantly, he plays the narrator in King's Quest 6. So Alexander pulls out his magic man. That's Bill Ratner.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So have I told who's playing Harley? Yes. Maya Murphy is next to Bill Ratner there. Maya Murphy is playing Harley. So yeah, so we've got Bill Ratner. That's cool. This one was great because I didn't think he would say yes, but he did. Neil Ross. Neil Ross, you may know him if you've played adventure games. He is the narrator in the Leisure Suit Larry series. He's the narrator in Freddy Farkas. He plays Wally in Monkey Island.
Wally.
Yeah, Wally,
well.
the cartographer, yes.
Poor Wally.
Yeah, poor Wally. Poor Wally. And so, yeah, he said yes. So I'm real excited about that, too. He was also Shipwreck in G.I. Joe back in the day and in Transformers. So he has some real 80s cartoon chops. And finally, last but not least, playing Lola Johnson, we've got Leilani Jones Wilmore, who has been in several adventure games. She played Malia Getty in Gabriel Knight.
Wow.
But most notably, she played the Voodoo Lady and Carla the Swordmaster in the Monkey Island games. She was also in The Dig as Cora Miles at the very beginning. So there you go. I'm not even unpleasant. There you go. Yes. Who plays? I did. He plays what? Oh, Neil. Oh, yes, Tom. Neil is going, among the many characters that Neil is going to play is Doc Sedgwick, who is the town doctor in Rosewater, who has the best walk cycle in the whole game. And Tom is a very avid fan of the walk cycle. So now you know Neil Ross will be playing Doc Sedgwick. There you go.
Wow. Oh, that's an incredible cast, and
yeah, right.
I actually know some of the voice actors, and because even if I didn't know them, I'm sure they're pretty good anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even if you had some like just 2 or 3 or one of these, that would be a great coup.
When I had my list, I was like, oh, if a few of these say yes, I'll be great. But they all said yes. So
oh well, congratulations. You must tell us how you convince people to appear in your project, or how you might let other developers know, because that's an incredible.
Well, I will tell you the secret. The secret is get a casting director who says, hey, I would like so-and-so in this project. Are they interested? And then they'll say yes, or they won't. That's my experience.
No, but that's fantastic. And I mean, some of these, as we mentioned, you worked with before, like Ivy Dupler and Ben Britton.
In the chat. Yes. And Ivy, no, it is not Aaron's walk. I'm sorry.
Oh, hello, Ivy. Yes, I didn't realize you were in the chat. You are, again, she's been fantastic in just any role. Whispers of a Machine, I would encourage people to play that as well, if you haven't. But even just those would be, really good enough. But then, Dave Fenoy, Gavin Hammond, Sissy Jones, Walking Dead reunion, and then so then again, remind us, if you can, first of all, the people who have appeared in adventure games. Not that they're more important or anything, just so
So the people that I got based on having appeared in LucasArts or Sierra games were Cam Clark, who, as I mentioned, was Freddie Farkas. He was also in Quest for Glory 4. He played a few characters in Quest for Glory 4. Dave Fenoy, as I mentioned, he was in King's Quest 6 and Leisure Suit Larry 6, and he was in Curse of Monkey Island. I guess, well, Gavin Hammond and Sissy Jones kind of count because they were in Telltale games. They weren't in Sierra games. But Leilani Jones Wilmore obviously was also in, she was the voodoo lady and whatnot. And Neil Ross and Bill Ratner. Neil Ross was in Freddie Farkas. He was also in Quest for Glory 4. He was also in King's Quest 6 in a very small role. Bill Ratner was in King's Quest 6. So yeah, I guess
Sal Lopez. I don't know if we mentioned.
Oh, right, yeah, Sal Lopez. right. Sal Lopez was in Grim Fandango. So yeah, Cam Clark, Sal Lopez, Dave Fenoy, Bill Ratner, Neil Ross, and Leilani Jones. Those are the 6 that were in classic.
Fantastic. Yes. No, that's really an incredible. I mean, look. I've already believed that the game will be good. At least now we know for sure the game is going to sound good. There's no way it can't.
Yeah. There is. I mean, the game might be crap, but at least it'll sound good.
Everything, even the writing now, I'm kidding. But even if, say, theoretically, everything else wasn't good, which it will be, I'm sure, at least we know for certain that the game will sound good with these amazing voice actors. Though, again, huge congratulations on getting this. And again, for people who just joined us, again, was it Roger Clark who was Arthur Morgan? There have been other people.
Right. Yes, Roger Clark is Arthur Morgan.
And Greg Shun, who was the voiceover in the dub version of Squid Game.
Yes. Apparently, actually, I think Greg Shun apparently was also in the Leisure Suit Larry 1 Reloaded remake. He played the bartender, so he does have some adventure game.
Well, Kitty Game said you should make a Guess Who minigame using this screen.
I should.
We could have had portraits and then
a shooting gallery.
But now, and have you begun to work with any of these actors? Have you already begun the voice acting?
No. As I mentioned, our first session is on the 16th with Roger Clark.
Okay, so he's the first person.
The first one, yeah. Actually, I'm he's on the 16th, and then the next couple of weeks I'm going to be recording all the characters that appear in the demo, because I'm going to be releasing an updated demo with voiceover for the Steam Next Fest on October 3rd. So, yeah, there'll be a new demo with voiceover from these lovely people. So make sure to check it out when it happens.
Yeah, no, fantastic. No, it's fantastic cast of characters, and I really like to reveal.
Yeah, good. I'm glad. I hope this was worth it. Worth the hype for everybody.
Yeah, I think so. And I mean, I was not expecting just when we spoke and we said, we do this. I was like, okay. And I was actually hoping that I would know some of them, but I think I know most of them. which and yeah, all of them fantastic actors. So again, congratulations. And now, again, I know you've worked with actors before, but I was just talking to the lead voice actor in I wasn't just a few months ago, in the lead voice actor in 9 War Lives, which has just been released. And he talked about how the developer Silvernote Games, how they work together, that they're collaborative, and that they kind of got them invested, and that it wasn't just like another job for them. So how do you, I mean, you said you enjoy voice work as well. Dave Gilbert has mentioned that. How do you work? I mean, well, I don't know. Are you going to be, you mentioned you have a casting director as well. So how involved are you going to be in the recording sessions, I guess? And what's your process?
100%. I'm going to be the one that's sitting there.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
And how do you work with will it change now with these voice actors? Or will the process still be the same? Or what is your process working with
process? Them? I mean, it's like I mentioned, it's remote, so it's going to be like this over Zoom. But aside from that, it's basically just going to be the same thing. We'll have a little chat beforehand. We'll just get into it, and then I'll direct them as needed.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's
it sounds simple, but it's. I mean,
sure, there's more to it.
Yeah, if it's a professional actor, the hope is that you have to do very little directing, because they get into it, and they kind of get, as long as you tell them what the essence of the character is. It's best to just let them do their thing, and then if they pronounce something wrong or something, then you can step in and say, actually it's this. Oh, okay, yeah. But you never want to be like, no, say it this way, because nobody likes a director like that.
Right, yeah, you're doing it wrong. Yeah,
exactly.
Terrible.
That's not how I hear it in my head. You're ruining my vision. Yeah.
And if somebody has, if one of these actors has an idea, or in the past when you've directed, would you go along with the idea, see how that goes? Sure. Or
there's no reason not to. I mean, yeah, it's always, that's the fun part of it. That's is you write it, but then you don't have to be precious about it. Like, you give it to the actors and they play with it, and they can, if they have an idea, it's always good to listen.
Cool. Well, in the chat as well, I believe Keita McKellar's Sarat, again, apologies if I get the pronunciation wrong. I've been known to be terrible at pronunciation, especially of names. But they say that Cam was also in Beneath the Steel Sky and one of my childhood faves, Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. I really want to watch that. I really.
Zombie Island, yeah. That was a good one.
Well, Kinney Games asks, do you play each actor the lines their character is responding to if they've already been recorded?
No, I've always wanted to, but it would take so much effort and organization to queue up. I just read them the lines if they need it, because a lot of times they don't. They can just read it, and they see, like, the scripts that I generate have the lines that they're playing opposite grayed out, so if they want to like skim it and see what the context of the conversation is, then yeah. And sometimes I'll read it to them and we'll go through it, but it's quicker usually if they just read the lines. So no, I know some people do that. Like, there's a guy named Mark Esdale who works in London, who has like this whole, he like plays the voice actor's music, and like he'll turn the lights down and like the music in the scene, for example, and he'll have like the dialogue queued up. But that's a professional setup. I don't have that. I'd love to do it, but
yeah. Oh, maybe in the future.
Maybe someday, yeah. I'd love to have like, ensemble recording where everyone's in the same room at the same time, but unfortunately that's just
not possible.
Not practical. I mean, it's possible, it's just not practical, because you're paying for a 2-hour session and you want to get as many lines done as possible. So if you have 4 people in one 2-hour session, they're each getting paid for a 2-hour session. They're not necessarily going to get through all their lines because they have to wait for the other person to read through all their lines too. So,
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, I am going to name drop, but there's a point to it. Rolf Saxon, you may have heard of him when he played George Stobart. I spoke with him a couple of years ago. He was very kind. Again, I was like, wow, he agreed to speak to me. And I went through an agent as well. Like, bloody hell. And he's really, really nice. He told me that when he recorded for Broken Sword, that's how Charles Cecil records at the different actors in the same room. And it worked for them. But again, I imagine mostly for voice over like this, it is, one after the other.
Yeah.
Because as you just mentioned, it would be very difficult otherwise. If anybody has questions, keep them coming in. Now, I don't know if you need to be somewhere, Francisco, but
no, I'm here working in my basement.
Who's Blarbihar says, are you also the voiceover engineer?
And I responded, yes, I am.
Oh, yep. Yeah, you've already.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you talking about Ralph Saxon. So
I know. Yeah, I know that. Of course, always good to mention talk about Ralph Saxon. But I mean, now you just need Rolf and Dominic Armato. No, you don't actually need him because all of these people are just as amazing. It's fantastic.
I did do some editing. Amy asks if I did live engineering on stream. I did editing for Lamplight City. I didn't do the engineer. I didn't like live stream the recording process, but I did edit the cut up the recorded dialogue on stream. And I'll probably do that again for this. I mean, if it's at all entertaining. I imagine it's not, because it's just listening to the same line over and over and over again until I get it edited correctly. But if people are interested, I might do one or two voice editing streams down the line.
And do you plan on adding any bloopers or commentary for Rosewater?
Yeah, I'll do a commentary. If there are any bloopers, I'll.
Yeah, there might not be any.
There might not be any. They're so professional, but you never know. Yeah, if there's anything funny, I'll put it in. Sure.
Yeah, they're fantastic. And then I suppose this is a silly question because you've worked with amazing people already. But how do you feel personally now when you get to work with these people?
I'm super excited. Like, I still can't believe that these people, I'm still waiting for them to be like, oh, sorry, never mind. No, actually, no. So yeah, I'm just like over the moon that I'm going to be able to work with some of these people because, well, all of them really, but like some of them, I'm like, I'm trying to figure out how not to like become a dumb fanboy when I am Clark and be like, look, I have my Leonardo figure over there. I have to try and not be like, look, I've got my Leonardo. So I have to maintain a veneer of professionalism, but it's going to be difficult. I'll tell you.
Yeah, this is it's the same for me when I speak with you guys with developers that. It's it's like, oh my god, first of all, speaking with you and Dave and Charles and whoever, oh my god, and I'm like, yes, this is I'm professional, really.
Yeah, I mean, the thing you have to remember is that they're just regular people and they're just
absolutely yeah,
and like you attribute you attach this sense of like awe to them because they've done stuff that you really like. But at the end of the day, like I said, they're just they're just like you and me. So
yeah,
they're cool, but it's like
yeah, absolutely.
Asks, can I say who Cam Clark is playing? I could, but it doesn't really make sense. I'll just say this: you will hear him in the demo, so look out for that.
Okay, and. Oh, I'm trying to think of any more questions because I think you've kind of gone through everything that, who they played before. I'm sure that there probably are, but are there still people who you would like to work with in future who are, I mean, maybe not.
Sure. I mean, one of the people that I was trying to get that I didn't bother asking because I was like, oh no, she's she asks for like 5 times normal salary on regular gigs. It was Jennifer Hale, who obviously, everyone knows who Jennifer Hale is, but she's one of those like top tier, like, like Nolan North or Troy Baker types. Who
yeah.
I mean, you never know. Like you say, you never know unless you ask. But in this case, I decided not to ask because whatever. But yeah, I was convinced Cam Clark was going to say no, but he said yes right away. So you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's already.
If I'm already sold on buying the game, should I avoid the demo in order to stay spoiler free? I mean, there's not really a ton of spoilers in the demo. The demo is really just like the very first part of the game. If you want to go in as a completely fresh experience, then maybe you might want to skip it. But I mean, there's nothing really in the demo that would ruin the game for you, except the problem with demos is, if you've played it once, you already know what it is. But the good thing is that the main puzzle in the demo has 3 different solutions. So if you play the demo, you could
different.
Yeah, you could decide to be a jerk if you don't normally play as a jerk. You're like, well, this is just a demo. I'll play the jerk path to see what happens, and then wait for the full game to play the not jerk path.
Yeah, I always feel really bad. I mean, I don't think I can even play, even when, and I mentioned this in a review just last time, when I played a game Suzerain, where you're the president of a fictional country. The first time I played it twice. First time I tried to be the nice, well, quote unquote nice character. I tried to be democratic, change the country, reforms and workers' rights, and and all of that. Now I ended up, well, I don't think I should give a spoiler. It didn't go well for me, shall we say, in the game. And then the second time I was like, okay, let's go full dictator.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, it was kind of fun in a way. Now it still didn't end well, but even then I still made some decisions that probably were inconsistent because I felt bad. Like when your wife asked you to support her, I was like, I just can't help not doing it. I still feel really bad. So, but yeah, so it's good that you can have different options and in the game as well. So I presume that you'll be recording differently with actors, depending on if you do the jerk pat, as you said, or the nice pats, or do you record differently with the actors?
In what sense?
So do you get them to say things in a different way, maybe?
Oh, right. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, there's different reactions based on different things. So yeah, sure. It'll be like, the context, maybe it's even in the same conversation, and I'll have to say like, okay, well, this is what you say if the main character says something mean to you, or this is what you say if they need clarification on that sort of thing. Sure. But that's what stage directions are for, and also that's what directing is for, because you're there to provide context to these lines. Sure. That are there a lot of the time. So
well, that's fantastic news. I don't know if anybody does have any questions. Please put them now in the chat before we finish. I suppose, I mean, look, as you said, if you don't ask, you'll never know. I'm guessing you probably cannot answer yet. You could probably guess what I'm going to ask. I mean, we've already had a number of exclusives already.
When is the game coming out?
How did you guess?
I don't know. That just seems to be the natural. I can't give you an exact release date because I don't know, but I'm aiming for, let's say, March, April of next year.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, again, there seem to be a number of really good adventure games that are just coming out.
Yeah, you've got plenty of adventure games to hold you over until then, so don't worry too much.
But I'm definitely looking forward to this game. So you heard it here first, folks. The 26th of March, 2023.
Oh, Jesus. Don't hold me to that, please.
Oh, how about St. Patrick's Day, 17th of March, 2023?
Yeah. I'll have to find some like Wild West themed holiday.
Like a talk, Monkey Island coming out to talk to a pirate day, and
maybe I'll invent one. Maybe I'll invent Talk Like a Cowboy Day.
But the thing, like my parents, they don't play adventure games, but they are into westerns. We were watching westerns over Christmas, and they love western movies. Do you know anybody, like any casual gamers maybe, who might be interested, who you've spoken to maybe, and it's it's a western?
I hope that there are lots of them. And I'm really hoping that having Roger Clark in this will attract fans, because
it's fantastic that you managed to get him. Which I seem to be repeating myself, so I don't know, is there anything else you'd like to mention or talk about?
No, that's it. Just thank you all for your support, and I hope this was exciting for you as it was for me. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now because I'm tired of looking at these people. No, I'm kidding. I'll never be tired of looking at these people, but I am tired of having Photoshop open in my that definitely has been really exciting for me. It's been the first kind of real, I don't like to usually do kind of exclusives. First of all, I've never really asked, but secondly, it's when people, again,
sometimes when people say, "Oh, it's exclusive," and it's not really an exclusive.
Right. Yeah.
It's but this time, so you haven't revealed this yet. I mean, now of course I'm sure you will.
I'm gonna go and shout it from the rooftops.
Absolutely, you should. But yeah. So people who are here, you heard it here first. That
club now.
Yes. Well, yeah. So thank you, Francisco. It's great to talk to you again. I mean, I know we have been sporadically in contact the last few years, but it's great to finally talk to you again after the last few years, which have been interesting to say the least.
Yeah, very interesting.
And hopefully they'll be less interesting, or better. But you will be at Adventure X now that we know it's going ahead. I believe.
Will be at Adventure X, and there will be a demo of Rosewater at Adventure X, which will be the same demo as the Steam Next Fest demo. So if you don't get a chance to play it during the Steam Next Fest, you can come to Adventure X and play it. Oh, also, I will be holding a special raffle at Adventure X. I guess I can exclusively announce this too. If you come
absolutely,
if you come to Adventure X and you sit down and you play the demo, you will be entered into a drawing both days. And at the end of the day, there will be a drawing. And if you win, you will win. Prize. Well, I guess.
No, he hasn't gone yet. No, he's still here.
Oh, wow. Rosewater box.
Oh, wow.
Empty, but it'll be a Rosewater box that you can put on your shelf. So there's some incentive for you to come to Adventure X and play the demo.
Absolutely.
So there you go.
Wow. So, I mean, I think a lot of people would love that box, me included.
Yeah. So we'll see. Anyway. All right.
So cool. Amy says I'll have to try to find time in between volunteering to do this because she's volunteering at Adventure X. Well, yeah, I mean, I can't reveal it yet because it hasn't gone through, but podcast, keep listening to the podcast in the future or watching, and I will have also an exclusive relating with the podcast and Adventure X. I can't say it yet publicly. People might guess, but I can't say it yet because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
And haven't got official confirmation I can say it. So, but yeah, absolutely. I think I can't wait to meet you and everyone else there and to try the demo and it'll
be a good time, I think.
Absolutely. And to meet other people as well. Other people in the chat are saying we'll see you in Greenwich, Electric Dragon. And that's fantastic. Well, thank you, Francisco. Thank you, everyone who has joined us in the chat. Now, you might be listening to this afterwards. I will be putting this up on the podcast afterwards. It won't be exclusive then, but hey, you can still listen. It'll also be on YouTube, so you can still send the link to people.
Yeah.
And they can see and or hear who the voice cast will be. So, so thank you. And we will see each other very soon. And and thank you again. Hope people enjoyed this. If you haven't already, I hope you would subscribe to the podcast, and hopefully, I might do more of these. There will be interviews on the podcast and on YouTube in the future as well. And hopefully, Francisco, you appear at some point in the future on the podcast.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah.
And if you're in the chat still and you haven't wishlisted Rosewater, go to Steam, wishlist Rosewater.
Yes, that's while we're plugging our things. Wishlist Rosewater, play Francisco's previous games if you haven't already.
Lamplight City.
Yes, Lamplight City. It's not a direct sequel, but it's
but
world.
You'll get all the references in
absolutely
Rosewater if you play Lamplight City. So go play Lamplight City if you haven't already.
Yeah, no, really enjoy that game. I believe I said it makes you feel like a real detective.
That's cool.
And you also get to punch a racist in the face.
Yes.
One of the best moments I've ever had. Do we get to do that? I know in the trailer we get to punch some people. Do we punch some?
There's no overt racists in Rosewater.
Or people who we want to punch.
Well, yeah, you can punch people, sure, but
okay.
Yeah.
Getting my inner anger and aggression now.
Well, sure, she's a former boxer, so there's times where you might choose to take that, path. So
why not? Thank you so much, Francisco. And we will chat to people later.